Hello, today we are going to talk about this issue. So, Smith Patil has created a file named behavior.qml, which behavior being probably English US, right? No U, just O. This content. And then he runs qmlscene behavior.qml once everything works correctly. The second time it runs qmlscene behavior.qml, a segmentation fault happens. And he wrote about this issue in the IRC matrix channel, in KD development probably. And in there, a really good idea appeared that if the issue is not reproduced the first time, but it's reproduced in all subsequent times, qmlscene space behavior.qml is run, there's something about the cache. And the cache being this directory, tilde slash dot cache slash qt project slash qml viewer slash qml cache. If we delete the cache, then again, once qmlscene space behavior.qml runs correctly, the second time you run it, a cache file is created and it will get to the segmentation fault. So let's see it in action. So I have a directory, we'll create a file, shift F4, behavior.qml, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, okay, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, let's make sure it has a trailing new line, Ctrl S, and now let's have a terminal open there. Okay, so he runs qmlscene behavior.qml, paste. So it's just a minimal test application. Close it, open it again, and sure enough we get a 6seg segmentation fault. Okay, the first thing to do is he didn't get very far because qmlscene is an executable which is part of QML, and if you install QML, which is part of Qt, if you install Qt from your distribution's packages, then Qt will not be built with debug symbols. Probably you need to install the debug symbols package, then it's built optimized, etc, etc. So I work around this issue by having my own built from source Qt, which is built with a debug configuration similar to Rail with debinfo. So it has both debugging symbols, so the libraries and executables are not stripped, but there's kind of minus O2 level optimizations in there. So not enough, just enough support to see stack traces and a bit of debugging, but then a ton of symbols in there, if I debug qmlscene, are optimized out. And when I press F10 to step to the next line, it steps hierarchically in there because of the optimizations. So I have built Qt 5 from source using kdsrc -build, but with it's an optimized build with debug symbols. Okay, where is that thing located? So it's in tilde, so my home directory, /kd /src /uppercase qt5. This is the source code. The build directory is this, so tilde /kd /build /uppercase qt, and the install directory is tilde /kd /qt5, this guy. Okay, so we ran which qmlscene. We are shown the qmlscene that's from the path. What is the path? And the value of the path environment variable. So it's just the usuals plus snap because I'm on Kubuntu 2204, and kdsrc build with executables from the source code of the kdsrc build git repo in order to have kdsrc build run. Okay, so I have extracted as part of the kdsrc build run. I have run it in with a command line parameter, so kdsrc -build. I have built everything, but with the command line parameter --debug, where I could see that how it does its things. It does a git clone for any given git repo, then cd to it, then create a build directory, cd to that, and then it sets exactly these environment variables, and then it runs cmake with a path of the cmake file given the parameter -s. Okay, so let's do something really similar to have the exact same environment that's available during build. Copy, paste. Let's look at the path again. So now it has tilde /kd /usr/bin, which is the default. So kd /usr is the directory where make install from kdsrc -build installs these things, and the tilde /kd /qt5 is the directory where qt file built from source using kdsrc build was installed. Okay, so let's go which again. So it says qmlscene has been found in the tilde /kd /qt5/bin directory, which is what we want. We want the qmlscene that has debug symbols. Okay, let's reproduce the issue. So once it works, let's look at the cache. So it has a ton of files in here. Okay. Just as an exercise, let's see how exactly the cache works. So once the cache is created, 3 files, and then the second time the segmentation fault happens. So the same 3 files exist on the hard disk. What do they represent? I know, background height, quick controls impl. Label QML. Behavior QML. And page QML. So it creates a cache for each of the QML elements that exist. So we have a page, it's cached in here. We have a label, it's cached in here. This label is cached here. And then the entire behavior QML file is cached here. Okay, so one cache file per each QML type. Okay. First thing that we tried is, so we already investigated this issue and it was epic and interesting. So I'm recording a second run, a speed run of how the investigation went. So we went GDB. And it says that behavior QML is not a core dump. So we go Control D. Actually, which GDB? So it's the GDB from USR local bin. That's because the GDB from Kubuntu 2204 is still broken and doesn't work correctly in Qt Creator. So I needed to build GDB and its source code repo, and I've installed it into the default place. When you build software from source code in Linux, it usually ends up into /usr/local if you don't provide a different prefix such as /usr. Okay. So the correct syntax is probably gdb --args and then qmlscene behavior QML. Okay, seems to look better. Run. So the cache already exists, the 3 files are cached. We get the zigzag and we get the correct line where the issue raises the zigzag. Okay, so let's create a new file with this. And can't we put some color in there? Where are you? Okay. Now if we have got this in GDB, it's qmlscene, the process is still alive and is a child of this process of GDB, I'm going to guess. And is it or not such? So ps looks grep qml. So the correct process qmlscene is running. Okay, so it's still alive, so we can inspect more things using GDB. So we can go info args. So these are the parameters of the current method, which is the method create instance in QQML object creator class. Okay, what else is there? GDB list locals. So info variables, we don't want a huge static global C++ universe. We want info locals. tone is optimized out, which is really ugly and really has hindered the analysis of this issue and fixing the issue. Okay, so we have about enough information from GDB. Let's now try to look at this issue using Qt Creator. Okay, so where is Qt Creator? USR pin Qt Creator. I have a better Qt Creator available in my install directory. Let's find that. So it's in opt Qt Creator in Qt Creator. Which of these? I'm guessing this. Okay. So this is the latest beta. Qt Creator 8 beta 1. Okay. So we want to use this special version of Qt, which is from here, and we want to start the same command line that GDB has started. So for that we go File, nothing really. Let's make sure all projects are closed. No. So how do I really do it? Well, one way to do it is like this. So as part of building Qt 5 using kdsrc build, I've also built this thing, gamma ray and kd state machine editor. Okay, so let's open kd state machine editor with all of the functionality possible, and then use the same thing to run our command line that 6x. Okay, so file, open file or project. You want this guy. Okay, cmake list.txt open, and then it's already configured, so let's pretend it wasn't configured yet. So for that we're going to delete all of the kits that are not the what's default desktop, which is the Qt and KD libraries and GDB and GCC, etc. installed from Kubuntu 2204 dips, dip packages. Okay, so let's delete this. Remove, apply, OK. So right now we're in the source code of KD State Machine Editor, and we still need to configure. So it says it's unconfigured, and we need to configure it in projects mode. So this guy, view mode, where are you? Okay, views projects, like that. Manage kits, again, make sure we only have the desktop default one, which is the case. And then we say import existing build, and we've built this thing from these directories from, so this is the git repo working directory. Here we cloned the KD state machine editor git repo, and then inside we created a build directory. So we need to go build, choose, and it has created for me a kit named Qt 5.15.4. Why did it do that? Because my configuration is this one. So I have a configuration with both KDE built from source and Qt built from source. So because it saw that a special Qt is built from source and is different from the Qt version that's installed in /usr, so it comes from the Ubuntu devs, it created a new kit with the correct name, which is Qt 5.15.4. So this is the correct version of Qt. Just Q Web Engine is at 5.15.10. That's the way it is. Okay. So it configured correctly this extra kit. It configured correctly debug to a new build configuration, which actually uses this kit. We can look at the way it's configured. So it takes Qt from tilde/kd/Qt, which is correct. It takes, where are you? It doesn't use KD things, just Qt things, and things from the system, which is okay for me. I want to use the GCC from the system, just the GDB from /usr/local. Okay, so it knows where to build and it knows where Qt is installed. Okay, so now we go debug, start debugging, start and debug external application. So we want to Qt creator to start the command line that's going to crash. So we say the executable, Control D, yes. So this is the executable tilde/kd/qt5/bin/qmlscene, this guy. And then the file that reproduces the issue is this one. Control V. The working directory is the same. And we go OK. So now it started debugging as correctly as possible the command line that's going to seek save. We have way too many breakpoints from the previous time, so let's delete those and start from scratch. So we'll debug, start and debug external. It's already configured. We go OK. Okay, it stopped at breakpoint 1 in thread 1. That because it has the checkbox break at main enabled. Okay, so it broke after the entry point, which is the main function, has started running. Okay, and then we just go continue until it crashes. So it crashed. I can see the error. It says signal name 6seg, segmentation fault. The inferior stopped, which is really wrong, or not. We need to make sure that the child process did not really stop. So we want the qmlscene to continue running. Okay, so we're on this line. We can't place a breakpoint in here or in here. We can't place any breakpoints in here because of the optimization. So various optimizations have been used at build time, so now it's really hard to put breakpoints in here. We can put breakpoints in just one place, inside this branch, not inside else, which is too late. Okay, let's remove all breakpoints and just put a breakpoint in here. Okay. Let's see what the debugger shows us. So is type ref is 0, so this is null reference. Dereferencing of 0 it's very okay to crash on line 1182. Let's look at my notes. So it says line 1182, correct. Install property cache equals not type ref is fully dynamic type, correct. Info args says index -2, index -2. Object parent is 0, so it's a QML object that has no parents. And this thing is optimized out. Okay, so what can we do? We would like to go back in time, like debugging backwards. I don't know how to do that. Or, for instance, break here. And let's see what happens if we break there. So debug, start and debug external application. Okay. It's stopped in main, so the shortcut for continue is F5. Okay. So we're at index 0 and it's another object. So we can go F5, index 0, another object, index 2, another object, index -2. This is probably the object. Okay, let's go F10. Jumps all over the place because everything's optimized and inline and everything. And now it crashes. Okay. We have a call stack. We have a list of threads. We have local variables and not only. We have the value inside this. We should be in a pretty good place. Okay. But then let's delete the cache. So you can Control A, delete, trash. Okay. And now let's debug again. Start debugging external application. So the issue should not happen. Okay, it stopped at main. F5. So it's index 0. F5 index 0. F5 index 2, yes, and now F5 index -2, right? And it's index 1 instead. So the issue is that instead of a 1, we receive a -2 in here, which really means, where are you? Zero, and then a 2. Okay, so in here, in the next run, we will receive a -2 instead of a 1. Why is that? we're in top level component create inside of main at line 658, the main function. And it says QML component create this and context. And then it says begin create. Will be no parent. This will be true. Object to create. Okay. Create instance, and in here the index is computed incorrectly. To be -2 instead of 1. What is this index? So it's this thing, right? We search lowercase only. Okay. Not really, we don't want to exit this method. It's not received as a parameter. What is this object to create? So it says create index of int, and it's already wrong in here. Probably if it's not an in-out parameter. And then object to create. This thing is an integer. So in here it's computed incorrectly. In here it's computed incorrectly. So let's go continue. It's -2, it's already wrong. Okay. So the problem is that the Qt was built with optimizations turned on. So we can't really look at many important symbols. And then I don't really know how to build just this part of Qt in order not to waste 2 hours to build the entire Qt, including web engine. So this part is Qt declarative. So maybe I can build it using KDSRC, just this module Qt declarative, but I'm not really sure it's possible. Okay, that would allow me to edit the source code and go, if something is -2, then do something. Okay, so basically I have no clue why the issue happens. So now I'm beginning to guess that maybe the given source code is wrong. So I'm given this source code, maybe it's wrong, right? Let's see. Does Qt Creator like this file? Okay. So it likes, Qt Creator likes this file. I can't see any squigglies and any validation issues. Okay. So then what is a page? F1. A page is a QML type, so it's valid inside of a QML file to have a page with an uppercase P. And we have seen it cached. So there's a page.qml, label.qml. So they're valid. What's a seg? No documentation for it, right? Because it's defined inside of this file. What's a text? What is not a text? A text is something from a label. I press F1 to show help in Qt Creator. So text is part of the properties of not this, not custom 3D label. Okay, so F1 label. F1 on text, and I say label, and I need to select. I can't select anything. Cancel. Okay. But what's the help for component? This is something about, I don't know, C++, aggregate class. Extending the Qt Creator. Not really sure if it's a QML thing. Okay, F1. Q compressed help info. No, that's for help. Q scene loader. That's from Qt 3D, not from QML. And the last one, scene loader. QML. I don't have any scene loaders. So where does this component come from? So it turns out there's a feature called Qt QML inline component, which has this documentation. So it says Qt.io blog, new QML language features in Qt 5.15. And it says inline components. Another new feature in 5.15 are inline components. As the name suggests, they allow you to define a new component inside a file. The basic syntax is component, yeah. Component name, yes. Colon, yes. Base type, yes. Declare properties and bindings here. Inside the file, you can then refer to the new component by its name, just like if it were defined in its own file. So they define a component name labeled image, which starts here and ends here. And then it uses this labeled image once and twice. So it gives two new QML things of type labeled image with an image and a text below it. Okay. And then it says make the source of the image be before PNG and after PNG, and text be before and after. And property labeled image selected image is before. So it's selected the first labeled image. Maybe you can tab between the labeled images or something like that. Okay. And it says instead of image.source, it says source, and instead of text.text, it says caption. So this is the source and this is the caption. Text being this id.text, the property, and image being this id, and dot source being the source property. Okay, and then from another file, it can use the labeled image component if it's prepended the name of the QML file that contains the labeled image. No, the name of the component, the containing component. Yeah, which is images. .qml. Okay. So let's see this work. So we go, we should name it images.qml, Control C, Shift F4, Control V, Enter, Control C, Control V, have a trailing new line, Control S, and back at the QML scene. And it's named images.qml. So it can't open these two files. We can create them if we want. Let's do that really fast. So it says file, create, screenshot, entire screen snap, and then let's make two icons. Control C, file create from clipboard, file export as into the correct directory, which is this guy. Control C, Control V, the name should be before. Export, enter, enter. And then let's pick the Kate icon. Control C, file, create from clipboard, file, export as, and that's after. Okay, enter, enter. Close this thing, discard changes. Let's run it again. Now the two PNG files exist on the hard disk. Control C, qmlscene once, Alt F4, qmlscene twice, Alt F4, qmlscene 3, Alt F4. Okay, so we can run it as many times as we want. We won't get zigzag. And the cache files. This is behavior QML. This is images QML, the latest file that I have created. Then there's label.qml and page.qml. Okay. So now the question is, how come this works perfectly? Images.qml, behavior.qml doesn't work at all. No idea. Let's compare the two. Where are you? So this is how it looks like. Maybe there's a Windows or Unix new line or something. Doesn't seem to be the case. Okay, so which one is good, which one's bad. Images is left is okay, and behavior is right and is wrong. So can't we reverse the order? No, we can't. We did. We can. Okay. So left is destination, which is the wrong file, behavior.qml. Right is the good file, which is images.qml. Okay. What can we do? Let's try the entire file. Ctrl A, Ctrl C. So we need to move some lines from left to right and then test, some lines from right to left and test, etc. etc. Let's try with the entire file. Ctrl S. So now the two files are identical. We copy the body of the file that works correctly into the body of the file that doesn't work. We saved, and now we're trying to run. Once, Alt F4, twice, it segmentation false. So the files are really identical. The same new line terminators, the same trailing new line, the same everything. And still one file is okay and the other is not. Images.qml is okay, behavior.qml is wrong. So the next step is to really look at the files. Maybe Visual Studio Code diff viewer is wrong. Let's really look at the two files. So size identical. What can we do? An MD5 sum or something? Okay. Totally identical. 5A starts with 5A and ends with OD. So it's really the same files. So the only thing that really differs is the name. So from this I'm guessing that behavior.qml is a prohibited name. You're not allowed to use behavior.qml as a name. Okay? But then why? And most importantly, where is this thing written down? What are the names of the files that are prohibited for QML files? So let's look at the source code. So we have the source code of Qt5. Inside src Qt5 with an uppercase Q. Let's search in there. Well, the search term is really lousy. It's behavior. Control V. Okay. So it searches. Okay, let's search everywhere. So it's behavior uppercase, so B, and match whole word. What is this? This is the commit template, so I'm guessing not from here. Right? No, not from M4, which is part of the make machinery, GNU tools. Okay, not from Qt 3D. Not from Qt Active Qt. Not from Qt Android Extras. Not. Could be from Qt Base, yes. This is the change list. So it shows all sorts of things which are not CPP files. Like that. And now it goes to angle. I don't want any angle. Probably the third party. I don't want SQLite also. Okay. So it's just 4 screens of things. We'll look at them. So no tests. Qt quick swipe private. So comments, docstring, graph object behavior. Bingo. So behavior is really basic and part of what? Qt quick 3D. Okay, set props no. Qstring literal. So we see that behaviors has some siblings. Maybe if we use other of these strings as a name of a QML file, we will trigger the same issue. Okay. Behavior. These are tests. Let's skip the tests. Docstrings, comments. Behavior, we can see that it's part of the base Qt quick behavior. You don't have to import anything to get access to behavior. So maybe this is the key. It's a component of Qt quick that's part of Qt quick, the base. So for instance, behavior, not this guy, but the original one, does import Qt quick controls for access to page. So let's see if page is a problem. So we'll move images to page.uml and try to reproduce the issue. Once, twice, third time, fourth time. So page being is not part of Qt quick 2.15, is part of Qt quick controls 2.15, so maybe that's why page.qml doesn't trigger the issue. Let's see about label then. Label. It opens the doesn't exist. Okay. Move the page to label.qml. Once, twice. So label doesn't trigger the issue, even though label is part of Qt quick the base. So there must be something else. Ton of doc strings. Doesn't really seem to be used anywhere. The string behavior in C++. So the only place where I can see it being used is inside of this. So it says Qt quick behavior private.h, the header file. And it says Qt quick behavior. It's a class. It's going to guess this is a source code of behavior, the QML being a sort of JSON programming language, so the tag. Okay, so I see QML named element. Let's see what other QML named elements do we have. So we have time, but it's in examples. We don't want that. We don't want imports. We want imports. Maybe we want imports. Let's see layout. Once, twice, 3 times. No, not that. Okay, but then when is our thing, the behavior defined? So it's defined inside of qdeclarative src quick. So maybe we should go here. qdeclarative src quick. src quick. Okay. QML named element. Control V. Okay, what else? So there's this drag thing and border image. Once, twice, it reproduces the issue, okay? Applicable. Applicable.qml. Once, twice. So I'm not sure what triggers the issue, but I could narrow it down to the fact that behavior is such a basic element of Qt Quick that you're not allowed to have your QML file named behavior. And only if you use the QML cache. If you somehow disable, I'm going to guess, if you run qmlscene and tell it to never cache, then maybe you can have a file named behavior.qml. Okay, and some of the other file names that are prohibited for QML files are in this list. So flickable, flippable, drag, grid view, image, etc. Image was not, right? Who knows? Keys. Once, twice. Keys is also wrong. So where I'm searching is into Qt declarative src quick. And I'm searching for QML named element with match case, match whole word. It's just this string with this name. There's no similar strings with this name because this is a macro or a qmlscene identifier. Okay, so this was it. We don't want to fix this issue. We don't want to notify Qt about this issue. We just want to know some QML, some names are invalid for QML files, such keys, flickable, drag, behavior, etc. So this was it. We ran through GDB. We used a compiled from scratch Qt, which had symbols. We used a new version of Qt Creator. We have imported a build directory from CMake. We have done a ton of debugging, and we tried a bunch of versions for when we did the sync between behavior and images.qml. So it took us a while to get to the final conclusion. So thank you very much.